Coronation Street is gearing up for one of its most heart-wrenching weeks yet, as secrets unravel and emotions hit breaking points across the cobbles. Two major storylines are driving this intense drama. Dee Bailey's shocking confession to her father Id that she killed Joel Deering, and Billy Mayhew's emotional breakdown after Paul Foreman's death. The week opens with Dee, a solicitor known for her strength and resolve, appearing visibly shattered in the wake of Joel's murder. Though she's typically the one helping others face their legal troubles, Dee is now engulfed in a personal crisis of her own, so severe that she feels compelled to confess to Ed that she killed Joel. The admission leaves Ed in complete shock, both horrified by the thought that his daughter might be guilty of murder and pained by the anguish she's enduring. For fans, this revelation is a seismic twist, especially considering that Dee was only ever seen as one of several possible suspects. The question now is whether Dee's confession is rooted in guilt or if, overcome by grief, she's somehow convinced herself of a crime she didn't commit. After making her confession, Dee decides that she must take responsibility and turn herself in to the police. The moral weight of what she believes she has done is too much for her to bear, and she's determined to face justice, whatever the consequences. Ed, however, is desperate to shield his daughter from what he believes to be a rash, perhaps even misguided decision. He tries to talk her out of going to the police, convinced that she might be mistaken in her recollection of events. There's still a lingering hope for viewers that Dee's guilt may be misplaced, that Joel's real killer is someone else, and that Dee, racked with grief and self-blame, has simply convinced herself of a crime she didn't commit. As the story unfolds, fans are kept on edge, wondering if Dee will defy her father's pleas and go to the authorities, or if her confession will remain a private torment. If she does confess, it could spell disaster, as it's unclear whether her guilt is genuine or whether her mind has been twisted by grief and guilt over her involvement with Joel, whose complicated personality and abusive tendencies had strained Dee's emotions. She knows her father wants to protect her, but her sense of duty and desire to do the right thing is pushing her towards what could be a life-altering decision. Meanwhile, another storyline on Coronation Street is reaching a boiling point, centered around the aftermath of Paul Foreman's death and the profound grief it has brought to those he left behind. Paul's partner, Vicar Billy Mayhew, is drowning in sorrow and guilt, a feeling that's only exacerbated by the complex circumstances surrounding his relationship with Paul. Billy's grief takes a dangerous turn when he attends a gathering at the Rovers, where Paul's ashes are set to be released via video link, a modern tribute to his life and legacy. Yet, overcome with resentment and sadness, Billy disrupts the proceedings by unplugging the screen, declaring the ceremony a farce. The crowd is shocked, but for Billy, it's a genuine outpouring of the anger and heartbreak he's been suppressing since Paul's passing. As Billy leaves the pub, the weight of his emotions leads him to a moment of recklessness. In a particularly painful revelation, Billy admits to having made a pass at Todd Grimshaw after Paul's funeral, an act that further intensifies his feelings of guilt. This moment reveals the strain Paul's death has placed on Billy, driving him to the brink of despair. After storming out, Billy retreats to a desolate spot behind the factory, where he drowns his sorrows in alcohol, seeking comfort in the memories of Paul he has stored on his phone. He listens to voice recordings of Paul's voice, clinging to the remnants of a life that is now lost to him. It's a heartbreaking scene, one that underscores Billy's deep-seated pain and the desperate longing he feels to be close to Paul once more. Billy's grief takes a chilling turn when, sitting alone in the cold, he finally succumbs to exhaustion. His phone's battery dies, symbolically cutting off his final connection to Paul, and Billy, overcome by emotional and physical fatigue, closes his eyes, perhaps with little desire to reopen them. It's a scene that resonates with viewers, capturing the profound isolation and despair that Billy feels, even as those around him try to offer support. His journey to this low point mirrors the intensity of Paul's death, creating a powerful parallel between love and loss that highlights the fragility of human connections. As Billy's life hangs in the balance, Coronation Street fans are left with a cliffhanger. Fortunately, it's Bernie Winter who ultimately finds Billy freezing and barely conscious and quickly calls for an ambulance. Her swift actions provide a glimmer of hope, though it's uncertain if Billy will emerge from this ordeal unscathed. Bernie's role here is significant. She, too, is mourning Paul's loss, but her grief has taken a different form, one that contrasts with Billy's despair. She has found strength in caring for others, even as her own pain simmers beneath the surface. Her discovery of Billy is a moment of salvation, potentially rescuing him from the brink of self-destruction, and highlighting the resilience of the Coronation Street community, where even those in mourning find ways to lift each other up. This tumultuous week on the cobbles also draws attention to the enduring emotional complexities of life in Coronation Street. In Dee Dee's case, fans are left to wonder whether she will ultimately confess her supposed crime or if, with Ed's guidance, she'll be able to confront her guilt and clear her mind. The thought that Dee Dee may not be responsible for Joel's death lingers, especially as her confession lacks the cold certainty one would expect from a hardened killer. She's riddled with doubt and confusion, which suggests that her guilt may be a reflection of her emotional turmoil rather than a concrete memory of events. The fact that she's even considering turning herself in indicates her moral integrity and a desire to be truthful. But Ed's insistence on holding her back is a telling sign that he may sense an injustice in her confession. On the other hand, Billy's struggle with grief is one that is deeply personal, marked by a journey of isolation, remorse, and recklessness. His decision to disrupt Paul's memorial and the subsequent breakdown highlight his internal battle between honoring his love for Paul and grappling with the anger and guilt that have surfaced since his death. His confession to making a pass at Todd Grimshaw reflects the depth of his emotional struggle as he attempts to navigate a world where Paul no longer exists. This storyline offers a stark, raw look at the process of grieving and the unpredictable ways it can manifest, especially in the life of a character like Billy, whose faith and role in the community are fundamental aspects of his identity. In many ways, Billy's breakdown is an invitation to viewers to reflect on the complexities of love, loss, and redemption as he confronts the reality that his love for Paul was both a source of strength and an emotional vulnerability that leaves him exposed and in pain. As these two stories unfold side by side, they paint a vivid picture of the different forms that guilt and grief can take. Dee Dee's possible involvement in Joel's murder presents viewers with a moral dilemma as they question her guilt and whether she can find a path to peace, even if she did play a role in Joel's demise. Meanwhile, Billy's descent into despair offers a raw portrayal of love and loss as he confronts the void left by Paul's death. Together, these storylines underscore Coronation Street's ability to tackle complex emotional issues, weaving together themes of guilt, grief, love, and community in ways that resonate deeply with viewers. The week ahead promises more revelations as Ed tries to dissuade Dee Dee from confessing, and as Billy's recovery remains uncertain. For fans, these storylines provide a poignant reminder of the intensity of human emotions and the ways in which love and loss can shape our lives. Whether Dee Dee is truly guilty or if she's misremembering events, her journey highlights the moral dilemmas that often arise in times of crisis. And as Billy confronts his own grief, he faces the challenge of finding a way back to himself, a journey that will likely resonate with fans who have experienced similar feelings of loss and despair. In the world of Coronation Street, where secrets and sorrows abound, the stories of Dee Dee and Billy stand as testaments to the enduring complexity of human relationships. As viewers brace for more twists and turns, they're reminded that even in a fictional community, the raw realities of life, love, loss, guilt, and redemption continue to captivate and inspire.